a few videos back, I shared my desire to declutter blankets from our home because they ended up in my laundry room way too often. The kids used blankets to build forts, and then I felt the need to wash them every time before returning to the shelf. And this is a regular thing. They play forts several times a week. I knew I didn't need as many blankets as we actually kept in the house because I only need one for guests. Everyone else has a blanket on their bed. We have throw blankets on the couch. The rest of the blankets are extra, and they were treated as extra because I gave them to the kids to play forts with. But the amount of laundry that created for me, I mean, laundering a blanket, let alone 3 or 4 blankets every single week, it's too much for me. The momentum of collecting blankets in preparation to declutter actually landed me on sorting and organizing our sheet sets as well. I did not know that we had 28 pillowcases and 8 top sheet sets that were taking up space in our closet that we didn't use. I donated the pillowcases and repurposed the top sheets as fort sheets. They have been hanging out in my dining room, as that's the main place they build forts, and the sheets do not have a designated spot in our house right now because it was a new thing I introduced to them, fort sheets. I haven't needed to wash any extra blankets in the last week, and I also haven't washed the fort sheets because I don't need to wash them every time they touch them. And in hindsight, I probably really didn't need to wash the blankets as often as I did because they were only used for fort sheets. But in my head, I needed to maintain clean blankets in my linen closet, and I was just letting the kids use them because that's what they had, and that's what I let them do. And I really didn't need to wash them as often as I have over the last whatever year that they've been interested in building forts. I could have just let them be dirty fort blankets. But in my head, I needed them to be clean because they belonged on the shelf and I was temporarily letting the kids use them. And looking back now on that, I realized that I did extra laundry that I didn't need to do, which is okay. It's just how we learn. And now having dedicated fort sheets that their purpose is to build forts, I don't feel compelled to wash them every time they use them. I decided that I didn't want to buy a new basket to store fort sheets. So I have 2 ideas. I could store them in grocery bags in the hall closet and they could just take the bags out and build forts. Or I can declutter this basket from our living room library and repurpose this basket as the fort sheet basket. This is one decision, one basket, one purpose. But to set that up, I have to declutter what's been stashed and stowed into this basket along the way. It's a catch-all basket. When we clean up quickly and we tidy, we toss things in here instead of putting them in their homes because their homes are farther away and we're trying to do a super quick tidy to get out of the house. It's like a junk drawer basket. Stuff just goes in here. And this is when the art of decluttering one day at a time shines. One decision to store fort sheets, used often in a basket we already own. One basket, one decluttering task for one day to improve our household organization, deal with some visual clutter that's been bothering me, and establish a home for a category of items that my children play with creatively. The art of decluttering one day at a time is a practiced skill acquired through experience, trials, failures, and successes. The ongoing commitment to keep items that we use, we need, love, or treasure is a baseline mindset for a minimalist lifestyle. Wanting to live with less is an antidote to clutter. Are there other items in this room that could use a declutter focus? Absolutely. But the art of decluttering one day at a time guides me to focus on the desired result for one thing: a home for fort sheets. The hurdle is decluttering this basket, putting the items in this basket in their proper homes, or letting them go, getting them out of the house. Do you have one thing that you could declutter today? In decluttering one day at a time, tell us in a comment below something that you would like to declutter and how you can focus one day at a time on it. Small daily decisions to let go of even just one item can make a difference over time if that decision is repeated. Okay, so we have trash, toys that need to be put elsewhere, a book, and my daughter's art stuff that needs to go into her art cabinet. My daughter is very artistic, so I gave all of her supplies a home because they were all over my house. On shelves, on the floor, in here. So now it has a home. The art of decluttering one day at a time lifts the pressure off of decluttering this entire room. Oh, and this is my bag that I take to church. It has like sticker books and coloring books for them during church. Belongs in my car. A minute ago, I called the art of decluttering one day at a time a practiced skill. Here's why I think it's a skill. Decluttering can be very difficult for some of us. We are attached to items that we've spent money on, and that holds us back. We don't know what we want our homes to even look like, so we don't know what to keep or what to trash. But to get the kind of change we want by letting go of things, the skill of letting go has to be practiced. Even trash can be hard for some people to part with. It's like a muscle that needs to be worked and trained, a decluttering muscle. It can be hard to even start. I ended up with 8 top sheets that I saved as fort sheets. I'm not going to give them 8 because it's 8 top sheets I'm going to have to do this with. So I pulled out 3 that I'm going to donate. A lot of times the local dog shelters need bedding, so I'll look into that to see if they're accepting donations. And I kept 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, I have 7. 7 top sheets I ended up reserving as fort sheets. I saved 4, and I'm going to get rid of 3. Just the simple act of folding these made me realize that I don't want to fold this many. So 3 are going out the door. I know that firsthand and faced starting and stopping many, many times over the last few years. But that's the beauty in the art of decluttering one day at a time. We only have to focus on today. We only have to focus on one thing we want to see come to fruition. I want a basket for fort sheets, but really I'm setting up a home with memories. The kids will remember building forts together and having the freedom to be creative and curling up under these fort blankets under the table with snacks and a movie that's on the iPad and just sharing the space together. One day at a time leads to another day, and then another day. A decision to declutter blankets led me to a decision to repurpose unused top sheets. Needing a home for those unused top sheets as fort sheets downstairs meant that I needed to designate a space. One day at a time led me to decluttering this catch-all basket of treasures and trash and other goodies. Finding small ways to simplify your home one day at a time will open up your space, your schedule, and your life. In this video today, you watched me declutter some trash, some bed sheets, and I cleaned up a bunch of messes. This video here, decluttering one mess, is good enough. Maybe good for you to watch next. Have a good day, and thanks for sharing it with me.